Hello chaps and chapettes, how's it going? Carl aka Screezilla here, and I hope you're all well, and welcome to something a little bit different. We will soon see why it's a bit different. You may have noticed in the top right hand corner, yes, we are driving the Off-Road Racing Series Pro 2 light vehicle. Now, this is effectively a chassis of a truck with a 700 horsepower engine in it. It's rear-wheel drive, and it is absolutely bonkers. It runs on a rallycross circuit, so if you're new to rallycross effectively you have to do a Joker lap, which is sometimes quicker. On Charlotte, it's a slower section for the Joker lap. Now, this is my first qualifying lap, and as you can see, I've already biffed it, so not a good job there. But the second lap is going to go much better for us. So, I got pressured into doing this by a couple of friends, mainly in this race, Nathan Legg, and also my friend Ed Foster, who got put into a separate race, unfortunately. We wanted to race together. But this was my first time driving one of these. I don't have much experience racing on dirt, as you can probably see by my terrible driving style, and I don't even have a handbrake set up, which probably would be useful in the future of driving this thing, because it needs a handbrake for sure, just to help you with some of the corners. So having to drive it just like a normal race car today, which ended up being quite interesting. So we'll just move the results down a second, because as I say, there's spoilers there for the things to come. But this whole thing has been incredibly fun. Unfortunately, I can't bring up the timing screens, so we just have to do without those. I'll turn off the UI as well, just make it look pretty. So we effectively get pole position, which I was as surprised at as I think everybody else. Because, as I said, I've done about 3 laps of practice in this thing before the actual race started. So, was pretty darn happy with that. This thing was an absolute blast to drive as well. Really something that is quite fun and different. So yeah, really fun night actually tonight. We were racing the Legends cars beforehand in a bit of a fun race, which was exciting and something a little bit different. And we were doing some standing starts in them as well, so that was fun to get some practice with my standing starts, because I'm actually quite good at those. Alright, let's skip forward to the race. So we got pole position, and Nathan just behind us in the Red Bull liveried vehicle. Number 3 looks like it's jumped its start already, but with this vehicle you can't put it into gear until the lights go green, and we get a blinding start there. So we get a really nice start straight away. The number 3, who's already jumped its start, is on the outside, and I'm not going to put too much pressure onto that guy because, well, don't want to wreck too early. Looks like the number 5 Nissan is coming down on the inside, gives me a bit of a biff straight into the corner. But that's fine. First lap, we just have to get into things. Okay, let's go to the TV cameras quickly. So I got a bit of a better view. So currently running in 3rd position. The 2 guys up in front are going to have a little bit of an incident, I think. Coming up towards here, the number 3 decides to push number 5 into the tyre barriers. And yeah, nice job, number 3. Great driving there, mate. And yeah, Nathan mildly kills somebody behind me as well. So things are actually going quite well. So currently sitting in 1st place. Now the guy in front of me is going to do the Joker lap, I think. So he's going to come in straight away for the Joker. So we're going to carry on our way with Nathan just behind us. So you have to do 1 Joker lap. And effectively, some tracks the Joker lap is a bit quicker, others it's a little bit slower as well. And I do apologise about my bit of a lisp and like slightly weird sounding voice at the moment. I have got a mouthful of stitches still from my wisdom tooth operation. Everything's going well, I'm recovering well, and that's good. But I had something like 30 stitches put in my mouth, so it's not very comfortable. Nathan does a really nice overtake down the inside. Very easy overtake. Not going to put too much pressure on him because As I said, first time racing this thing, I just wanted to get used to it. Now, it's a lot easier to drive one of these with a handbrake just to get the back end stepping out. Unfortunately, I didn't have my handbrake set, so I just had to go with the old Scandinavian flick option with the brakes and just pray for the best. Now, Nathan's going to come in for his Joker lap, and I'm just going to stick it out there. So I'm going to stay out for another lap here and go the way around. This is going to give me a little bit of clean air and a little bit of momentum as well. One of the things you get from the Joker lap actually is you get a bit of a cleaner entry into this first corner, so you've got to be a little bit careful because you can sometimes over brake it and actually tag the wall. Great little jump here up over the top. You don't want to get too much air because you will lose control of the truck. Kind of did nice there towards the apex. Somebody is absolutely dead on their side there as well, so somebody missed that corner a little bit too much. And here we go. It's a very different style of racing and something I'm really not used to. I'm not an expert on dirt for sure. That is something that is beyond my level of skill. So I decided I'm going to take the Joker lap this time round, and we go in. Now, Nathan, unfortunately, was following me, and he got into the old mind habit of a racing driver, and followed me in for another Joker lap, which gave him a penalty. Totally unintentional, but he was so focused on chasing me down that he just instinctively followed me for the Joker lap. So that didn't work out too well for him. So it's a 10 lap race, so it's not a huge race here. It's a relatively short race, thankfully. And these things are absolutely wonderful to handle. They are just something seriously fun. They're just silly, and that's the kind of thing that I love. They're not serious racing like they are. You need to have serious skill to get these working right. It's not a thing of, you know, these are just silly fun, there's no skill in them, because there's a huge amount of skill involved in driving one of these fast. But the thing is, it's just a boatload of fun, and as you can see, if you catch that curb just right, you get up on two wheels, and you're just sort of drifting around on two wheels most of the time. These things are so tops heavy as well, you feel like you're going to roll every time you come into a corner, even though they're quite low centre of gravity, but they do still feel like you're going to roll every time. Now Nathan's charging up on us again, but he's managed to snag himself a 10-second penalty here. So as long as we can keep on his tail, we've got this one in the bag, as long as we don't crash. So ease off mid-corner, we make a little bit of contact, Nathan going for a very late braking manoeuvre there. A little bit of rubbing his racing, which is absolutely fine. We do a lot of NASCAR racing and American style racing where a little bit of hip and shoulder action is absolutely needed. So coming through the corners once more, across the start-finish line here at Charlotte, of course. Charlotte, the oval, of course, well known, but the Roval as well, very tricky track. And this takes advantage of the Roval's sort of pit stop area, pit entry and exit, which is actually one of the harder parts. Also, the tyre barrier on the outside here is an absolute bastard, because you feel like you can go so much faster up that area, but you just have to brake a little bit. Somebody's decided to go for a bit of a trip through the actual infield and just drive the Charlotte road course, because they've given up on the race already. But me and Nathan are still battling it out. Nathan needs to gain 5 seconds on us, so he's got a lot of work to do, and I can just sit here happily now and just follow in his tyre marks and keep on running. So it was a really fun night of racing. As I said, we had our Legends race tonight, and I actually had a decent finish in the first one. I think I finished P6 or 7. After qualifying shockingly bad, I had no pace whatsoever, but I had an incredible start. Luckily it was a standing start tonight, and apparently I'm very good at them. So that was fun. It's my first time racing for a while. I did actually have a race on Monday night in the IndyCar, at the Indianapolis circuit, in the Car of Tomorrow, so a bit of a fun race for the ANSCAR series, and you can catch that race on FGM Cars if you want to see it. A bit of a spoiler, but I might lead a couple of laps Take into that what you may. Unfortunately, they weren't the laps that counted, but I did lead some of the race, so that's kind of good. But it's nice to get out and actually have a drive, because I don't get enough driving, unfortunately. It is definitely something I miss doing a little bit, because unfortunately commentating does take up a lot of your time. So now it's just a thing of not letting Nathan get too far away from me. As I said, he's got a 10-second penalty, so I just have to keep within 10 seconds of him. And my main goal is just not to crash. That was my main focus on this race. Was not binning it, really. And easier said than done when you're driving this thing for the first time. I run a TSXW rig with the Thrustmaster pedals with a braking adapter to it, so it actually has a harder braking system. So it actually feels a little bit more like an actual brake. Potentially I'll monitor in there and stuff like that, and got a nice seat which makes it much more comfortable on my back, so I can actually run in some form of comfort. And also run the Ferrari, the older Ferrari wheel for it as well, which isn't best for these vehicles. You generally want a nice big steering wheel, not a tiny single-seater steering wheel or a GT style wheel. You want a big wheel that you can turn nice and easily. So that affected me a little bit, but honestly didn't affect me too much. Little tag of the wall, they're nothing major in these things. They can take a bit of punishment, but definitely starting to struggle at this stage. I think we've got a couple more laps to go. I think we might be on or getting towards the last lap now, actually. Soon find out. But yeah, it was just a really fun race, something very different for me, something I've never done before, and that really, it's something that I would definitely say do if you are a bit of a sim racer, is go out of your comfort zone sometimes, because it is a fun experience to have when you do drive something a bit different, because it really catches you off guard, and you do get some new skills in it, especially when you're running on dirt, because it's such a different skill set to actually be able to use, because it is so slippery, but you do get moments of grip as well, so it's a really different style of racing, and it can help you in other areas as well. So that's one of the really fun things about running it in on a dirt series, or running in something that's very different for you. Just go out of your comfort zone a little bit sometimes, because you will eventually get yourself into a position where you have fun, and that's the main thing about racing, is having fun. So that's the end of the race, and let's just bring up the results. So result wise, we ended up in P1. Nathan finished in second with his 10-second penalty, and we had a couple of people drop out quite early, unfortunately. 22 seconds up on the guy in third place, which I was super happy about. There were some people with some higher licenses and stuff like that, so I was really surprised with that finish, and taking out a win was, well, it was a good feeling, I've got to say. It's always nice when you can actually get a win. It's one of those nice feelings when you actually do get a bit of a win sometimes. You don't often get them, so getting a win in anything is a good feeling, but yeah, I was pretty chuffed with this one. Let's just jump to the blimp for this one. So we'll jump to the crash cam just as we're talking. So yeah, as I said, if you do find yourself feeling a little bit sort of stuck in the rat race and feeling a little bit locked in, do something different. Like, these are free content, this is free small iRacing, so it's something that you can definitely do and have fun in, and it is something that you as I said, you will have some fun actually driving. I say number 3, what a douchebag doing that to the number 5. That guy got absolutely murdered. And Nathan just absolutely murdered the number one there as well. That was but this kind of racing, like, compact is it's something that happens. You just have to let it go and just not put too much into it. But it is just one of those things that it does bring a lot of fun to, and it does make you smile. It is just there for a little bit of giggling, a little bit of fun. Don't take it too seriously. Don't push yourself too hard, and you can actually just have a little bit of a moment of a breather as well, because you can take it all too seriously sometimes, and you can just go into the racing and just burn yourself out too quickly as well. So don't do that to yourself. Just have fun, because that's what it's there for. That's the big thing about motor racing, is it is there for you to enjoy and have fun in. And if you're actually getting obviously when you're in a championship, it does get serious. That's what happened to the number one there. He just absolutely killed himself on that curbing. But if you do take it too seriously, sometimes you just get very, very. You just don't have fun. And at the end of the day, is you want to have fun with this kind of stuff. All right. I just wanted to make this video just to get a bit of content up. Obviously, I'll be doing some more content soon. I hope you guys keep well, and obviously my content's going to be down a little bit just as I recover. I am doing commentary on FGM eCast as well, so jump over to them and give that page a like and a subscribe as well if you can, because it really helps out the algorithm there and helps us out. If you enjoy watching racing, come over to FGM eCast, the link's down below. And also Locked On iRacing, or Locked On Lads. They run a weekly podcast with Australian iRacing content, and it's a good way of learning what's up to date and learning who's out there and what's going on in some of the theories as well. But really, that's it for me tonight. So have a good one, and I will see you all again soon. Alright, bye bye all.